Adrian, we got to get to Canada.
I know.
We've got Trump starting to win. We've got to get out of the United States. Canada's the place to go.
Okay, how does anyone get to Canada?
Port key. We use a port key. It's the best thing.
No, and the port key is not a real thing.
A port key is a real thing, Adrian. It has to be something that no muggle would ever touch. We're going to have to call Tommy Gunn in on this one.
What do you mean?
We're going to have to call Tommy Gunn.
Don't, what are you talking
Adrian,
about?
don't fuck around. The internet knows. We need your man thong.
We
need it.
Do we have to keep bringing this up?
We need it.
Do we have... Fine.
How the hell did you do that so fast?
Well, you know, you spend some time in the business, you learn some tricks. What do you want? Grab it.
Yep.
Okay. Now where do we go?
It's going to be a long way to Canada.
I brought my Alanis Morissette cassettes. I don't know if that'll do.
I don't think this is how this is supposed to work.
It's your idea. Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And we are here with this week's installment of...
Adrian Reads Harry Potter.
I hate all of you.
Everybody's favorite day of the week.
I can't stand children.
Adrian Reads Harry Potter. Look at that. You even got a nice little Harry Potter book back here. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I bought that myself.
You bought your shelf. I can't get it to look pretty, so it's just going to look like shit. Oh, well. Anyway, Adrian Reads Harry Potter. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is chapters 4, 5, and 6. Can we give the rundown real quick?
Yeah.
So everybody knows what we're talking about. Chapter 4, back to the Burrow. The Weasleys arrive by the Floo Network to visit the Dursleys. We get a lovely scene between Mr. Weasley and Mr. Dursley. Dudley eats a tongue truffle. Hilarity ensues.
Book two, book tag.
Exactly. Chapter 5, The Weasley Wizard Wheezes. We get life at the Burrow again. We get to meet Bill and Charlie, the older of the Weasleys. We find out Percy is now working for the Ministry of Magic. And we find out that Fred and George, the twins, want to open a joke shop and they want to do something that they love.
Yes.
We're going to have to get into that there.
Yeah.
And finally, Chapter 6, The Port Key. We learn about what apparition is, we get to meet Amos Diggory, and we get to learn about port keys. It's very dull, 3 chapters.
Yeah, not a lot exciting happened.
Correct.
But I would still say that this does break the mold of the Harry Potter universe to this point so far. Yeah.
Okay.
The first 3 chapters through all the Harry Potters were very piecemeal, right?
All right.
The first 3, okay, you set up with this, you go into that, then you've got this, right? Open to the Dursleys, something extraordinary happens, gotta catch the train.
All right, yeah, very rigid.
After that, they were always at the school.
Okay.
So you've got something strange happening at the school. The introduction of a villain, which I think happened in chapter 4 here anyway, and we can get into that a little bit.
All right.
Because that's just, if you want to talk about ham-fisting, JK, well, that does not sound right. Ham-fisted. We'll move past that. But if you want to talk about ham-fisted, that is a terrible name that we're going to get into later.
Remind me, jot down a note for one of our skits, just to sit down on set with 2 ham shanks attached to my hand, and then that's it.
And just ham-fisting JK. Hashtag ham-fisting JK.
You're going to get into something you don't want. Anyway.
I'm already reading 700 pages of something I don't want for this channel.
Well, we did talk about this a little bit, where this is the point where J.K. Rowling is allowed to do what she damn well pleases.
Yeah, she's the author.
She is the author, and the editor says, well, she's made it work before, so give it to her.
She's no longer a writer. She's an author.
Yes. So we are getting a little bit of a different introduction. I still think we're still getting some of that Harry Potter reminders, little backtracking.
Oh, yeah.
Not as excessive.
Right.
We're not getting a whole chapter telling us who Harry Potter is, but we're like, oh yeah, by the way, he's got a firebolt. Came from his godfather.
It feels like it's not as massive in one place, but what she decided to do was buckshot it. Okay. Right? So every 3 or 4 paragraphs, you've got one thing that's reminding you of something.
Okay, I'll give you that one. we get to meet the Weasleys again.
We get to meet the Weasleys. We're off to meet the Weasleys.
I know you don't like the Weasleys.
I don't like the Weasels.
You don't like the Weasels. You don't like the mother or the father, though?
No, they're fine. I don't like the kids.
You don't like the kids?
I kind of like Percy.
Really?
Yeah.
Bill and Charlie?
Bill and Charlie are okay. But wait, which one's Bill and Charlie? Those are the new ones, right?
Yes, those are the oldest ones.
Not Fred and
George are the twins.
Fred and George are the twins.
Bill and Charlie, one is doing stuff with dragons in Romania. The other works at Gringotts.
Bad Boy Bill gives JK a hard-on.
That's what it is?
Yes.
And is it Bad Boy Bill? How so?
Well, he's got the earring, and he's got the cool long hair.
Yeah.
And he's got a beard, doesn't he? Something. Yeah, he's
cool. But he works at a bank.
Right.
Yeah. So he's.
I'm waiting for the scene where he plays guitar.
But that's the thing. He is the mundane working man who just got out of college and had all these aspirations but can't let it go. But he's just doing the job that he has to do to get by. But he wants to do so much more. That's how he works.
Okay,
that is him.
I haven't seen that yet.
Okay. In my opinion, though. I always have to preface with that. But Fred and George are the jokesters, the pranksters. You don't like them, of course.
No, I think, they're interesting.
Okay.
They're more interesting than... Really, Ron's the only one I don't like.
Okay.
Ron's a wet paper bag.
Yeah,
there's no other way really to put it.
Okay.
He's just boring. Ginny's adorable, right?
All right.
Who I'm pretty sure Harry Potter's going to marry.
Okay.
Because if you don't see that coming, maybe I'm wrong, but if you don't see that coming from the minute that Ginny is introduced, then you're going to miss a lot in this series that's coming anyhow.
Okay. How do you feel about Molly Weasley? Because she's one of my favorite characters.
That's the mom?
The mother.
Why is she one of your favorite characters?
You get it much later in the series. There's just one line of dialogue that makes Molly Weasley the best Harry Potter character in existence. It's going to be a while till we get there. But Molly's a great fucking character.
Say that line. It's not going to ruin anything for me. I'm not going to be able to see. Don't tell me who she says it to.
I don't know the exact terminology, but essentially it's "let go of my daughter, you bitch." So this is the working mother, though. This is the other side of magic that you don't get.
Right.
This is the boring home life magic where she's cooking with wands.
Right.
Where she's moving the knives, she's fixing up the yard, all this stuff. It's boring magic, but it's magic that serves a purpose.
Right.
It's the side that you don't get. It's taking away the wonder and excitement, but leaving the fantasy. That makes her a good literary character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She's necessary.
Yeah. The slight irony of things,
Okay.
right? Learning magic to do the mundane.
Yes.
Right.
The dad, Arthur Weasley,
Well, I think it was interesting in this, I believe it was the chapter 4.
Okay.
Where he's introduced as a guy who... No. Was it Mr. Weasley? No, I guess it was the Dursley father who judged people by the size of their car.
That was, yes, Vernon Dursley.
How big and expensive the car. Very subtle, JK. Very subtle.
Boys will be boys.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on. I'm rambling this video for some reason. I usually let you go.
Go ahead.
How do you feel about the interaction with the Dursleys and the Weasleys?
That was very interesting to me because I am from one of those families that whenever you're in public, you're slightly embarrassed of.
Okay.
We were an eclectic tribe. Very strange, didn't know how to interact with people. Like, I was that kid that when, I don't know, the 3 or 4 times in my childhood that I went over to someone else's house, I was just fucking terrified.
Yeah.
So, like, that's interesting to me to see from, like, I'm imagining JK was that kid too.
Okay.
Because this is, though the Dursleys are the aggressor in this scene where they come over, they are also seen as the outsider. Or the Dursleys are seen as the power, right? But the Weasleys are seen as favorable, right?
Okay.
They're narrated as the favorable party there.
All right. I also come from a ridiculous family, which is, it's delightful. I agree with that. But you do get that, especially when...
You notice people staring at you in public.
Yes. I got to tell this story. It's such a side note, but my grandmother is going to be rolling in her grave. She did pass away quite a while back, but did not want anyone to know she had false teeth. Quintessential 1950s housewife. Wonderful woman. One of my favorite people in existence. That was her utmost fear.
Really?
she was in the hospital, and my uncles, her sons, being themselves, put on the little board for the nurses, take her teeth, she bites. So we get a call in the middle of the night from my grandmother trying to talk really loud, pissed off, because she's not going to them fucking boys, because the nurse took her teeth. That is my family.
Which, the beautiful part about that is, at that point, you become so enraged that there's no way you're going to be able to convince someone that you don't bite, right? What do you say? Give me back my fucking teeth! I don't bite! I'm not a biter!
Yes.
What, are you going to threaten them into giving your teeth back because you don't bite? Right? Like,
So, but I do understand the Dursleys. I do. Because when you have people coming over, it's putting on that suit. It's
Yes.
assume that normalcy so they don't know how fucking crazy we are.
right.
So the Dursleys are identifiable with this.
But here's the thing that I found most interesting about that scene. We've got these weirdos that show up because for anything that the Dursleys, I think you meant the Weasleys there, but for anything that you want to say about the Dursleys, they fit into society, right?
Yes.
Like they're the people next door.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So you get this scene where the Weasels come over and they are running roughshod in this house, right? They're ruining things. They're pent up in the fireplace. They're getting soot everywhere in the house.
This is the people who show up at your doorstep and can't get it open because it's locked, so they just blow the door off.
Right. And then I think one of them breaks something. One of the boys, I think, breaks something even. Perhaps I'm making that up.
I think you are.
And then they drop the candy that Dudley ends up eating, which obviously fat shaming. But so they do all this, and then Harry Potter says to them before he leaves, "Bye," and they don't say anything back. And Mr. Weasel says, "Hold on, boy. We're gonna get this bye back. They're gonna tell us bye, and it's gonna be enjoyable for you." Right?
Yes.
So what that is saying, look, these weirdos that show up, they might not give a good goddamn about your carpet. They don't care what car you drove. They came in through the goddamn fireplace, but they value people.
They do.
Right? So that was an interesting literary moment for me. That was the most emotional investment I've had in this series yet.
Okay.
That second where Mr. Weasel says, "Hey, you fucking say this."
Yeah.
Right? That was a big deal for me.
Good. We do.
The series still sucks.
When we're sitting down, we first get together, to film for the day. We always kind of just briefly, "Hey, what'd you think about this? What'd you think about this?" And we're always like, "Ash, save it for the channel." This is something you brought up, and I have to bring up now.
Yes.
You do realize you're Vernon Dursley, right?
Vernon Dursley?
Yeah, you're the dad.
Oh, well, sure, that's fine.
Because the Weasley, I keep trying to call them the Weasels now. I hate you so much. The Weasleys are 5 minutes late, and he's enraged. What if we had engagements? What if we had something to do? Who are these people? This is ridiculous. This is bullshit.
And they're absolutely right.
You are Adrian Fort is Vernon Dursley.
I am. What's Snape's first name?
Snape?
Yeah.
Severus.
I am Severus Dursley.
Severus Dursley. Let me tell you a little story here, BookTube. If at any point in your life you're going to meet Adrian Fort somewhere,
Be on time.
no, you be fucking early. Because as soon as that clock hits on time, he's leaving if you're not there.
It's so true. I've gotten into so much trouble for that in my life. Why do I have to wait on you? I was 5 minutes early anyway. I'm willing to show up and wait those 5 minutes. We're straight, right?
This is why we're opposite people. If I'm meeting someone somewhere, I will wait in the parking lot in my car 30 minutes to an hour if they're going to be late, so we can go in together at the same time.
Really?
I cannot sit there by myself and wait for someone.
So do you hold hands as well?
Absolutely so. I need someone to escort me through the door.
This is why Dalton's the guy who's always in a relationship. And Adrian is not.
Anything about the Diggories that you got to feel? We got to meet Amos Diggory, Cedric's dad.
Diggory-do.
Diggory-do.
No, they're uncompelling to me at this point so far.
We're going to get to know Cedric a lot. Let you know that.
We've been introduced to Cedric, right?
Yes.
Or at least the idea of Cedric. I don't know if we've met Cedric yet.
He's going to become a more centralized character.
Yeah. Was it the second book we met Cedric in?
Maybe the third, because
Maybe
the
the
only
third?
time he was mentioned was the women were gushing over him and just,
yes,
Cedric
yes,
Diggory.
yes.
And he's a Quidditch player. That's all we know about him.
Right.
We're going to the World Cup of Quidditch.
Wait, here's if I can say this real quick. This is why I don't believe we've got that. Okay. So we've got that in the series that these young women gush over Quidditch players.
Okay.
But they are not in themselves particularly notable characters,
Okay.
right? The girls who have gushed over, what's his name?
Cedric Diggory.
Cedric. The girls who have gushed over Cedric are in the background.
Okay.
I cannot believe that J.K. Rowling would associate Harry Potter's mother with a background character. So, this idea that she so loved James Potter because he was a Quidditch player does not make sense to me. And that is why the Snape thing doesn't make sense to me. Because Snape would not have hated James Potter because he was a Quidditch player,
Okay.
right?
All right.
That is not, for someone of Snape's caliber, that is not a sturdy enough stuff to base hatred upon. Now, we've also got a little bit of the making fun of stuff that happened in the last book, that surfaced in the last book. But even then, that goes hand in hand with being the jock and the bully, right? So that doesn't make sense. Snape, I think Snape either loved Harry Potter's mother, or there was some other reason that he hated James.
Okay.
Something deeper, some deeper-seated reason that he hated James, other than being picked on and he was the Quidditch player and stuff like that.
Book 7.
None of that makes sense.
Book 7.
Okay.
That's how far you got to go to find that out.
Well, maybe we won't. Just tell me.
We're going to go there. We're going to go there.
Okay.
Absolutely so. Quidditch World Cup. This is soccer.
Yeah.
Obviously. But, it's good to know that that's a thing in all societies. Sports bring people together.
Yeah, and it was nice that there was this little quip in there about Transylvania being really good.
Because they knocked out England.
Right.
Come on.
But it's Transylvania,
Yeah.
right? In
How
the
dare
Wizarding
they?
world,
How dare they?
surely Transylvania is a big deal.
Was it Victor Crumb? Romania has Victor Crumb, but Ireland has 11 real players.
Right.
So it's sports talk. It's wonderful. It makes the Wizarding fantasy world more realistic to us.
It does, and I wonder how much of that, like you said, J.K. Rowling put that in there to have a sports device to make it feel more like school.
Yeah?
Did you say that?
I don't know if I said that.
I think you said that.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
I take credit for it then.
Okay. So it's interesting to me because I think you also said, look, you're the only person I talked to Harry Potter about.
Hey, this is
So
true.
if I have any ideas about Harry Potter that I didn't come up with, they're from you, pal.
Okay.
That she doesn't like sports very much.
Okay.
Right? So she had to make one of her own to put in here. So I think it's also interesting that that's really how you fall in love with sports, is having a little bit of your own, right? Foursquare is not a real sport. But kids around the United States play Foursquare at recess, and then they go, well, I kind of like this competition thing. Maybe I'll play the kickball game. Maybe I'll play tetherball, And it's interesting to me that this germ in there that was Quidditch in the first novel has
it's big.
spiraled up now.
It's huge.
And she's using it to explore other things.
So much so that we could still go play Quidditch in real life right
I'm
now.
not playing Quidditch in
There
real
is a
life.
team less than an hour away. We should try out for them.
I do
That
not
would be the
care.
greatest video ever.
That would be the highlight of your life.
But no, it is absolutely true. I didn't like watching a lot of sports. I didn't watch any football whatsoever until I started playing fantasy football. Now I'm big into it.
Yeah.
And half of the internet gets messages from me at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, I'm drunk, let's talk football. Anyway.
Never texted Adrian about football, I'm surprised.
No, because here's the thing with Adrian. If I text him that late at night, he's usually up,
Yeah.
but he's being productive. So if I interrupt him with quivellous nonsense,
Frivolous?
frivolous, excuse me,
Quibbles?
I make up words. We're aware of this. If I interrupt you, you will ignore me.
That is not true. That is not true. That is probably true.
Very true. Anyway, wizards
Yes.
may be the most eco-friendly green people ever.
Okay.
You ever thought about that?
No,
Apparition, disapparition
Okay.
is absolutely vehicle travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more dangerous. Everybody can go get their license to go do it, but it's a lot more dangerous. Some people just decide not to. They use public transportation. That's all that is. It's a push towards the green movement. Take the bus, not the car.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
Even more so.
In fact, the smoke's even green, isn't it?
In the Flue Powder Network?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Even more so. The trash that those muggles leave laying around, it's not actually trash. It has a purpose. It's used for transportation. That's why we leave it there. So there is, in my opinion, a push towards an eco-friendly green movement via Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's any much more to read into that, besides I really just wanted to plug it because it felt good. So shut you up. Anything else you really want to talk about here?
Yeah. Is this man's name really Ludo Bagman?
Yes.
So we get...
It's pronounced Bagman.
No, it's Bagman. Because we get him introduced with his brother Otto. Was that right?
I'd have to double check off the top of my head.
I think Ludo, maybe I read this wrong. Ludo and Otto are brothers, which really the most German sounding names ever.
Okay.
And their last name is Bagman. And we're introduced to Ludo Bagman in a series of paragraphs where people are described as going missing.
Yes.
Ludo Bagman.
She's gone missing. But she could just have, wandered to Australia instead of Argentina or Algeria, wherever they said.
But who made that excuse? Ludo himself made that excuse.
Ludo Bagman.
Yeah. What a clumsy, fist-hamming J.K. Rowling thing to do.
Fist hamming. That's going to start trending. I sincerely hope it is. I can't find it off the top of my head. I like Ludo. For some reason, Otto is not clicking with me, and I think you're making it up. Nope. His brother Otto got into a spot of trouble. Okay, never mind.
Well, I'll be damned, Dalton.
I'll be damned. Look at you pointing out things I don't care about. Let's talk about the twins.
Let's talk about me being a more observant reader than you.
Let's talk about the twins.
Twins will do.
I'm okay with that. They're wanting to start a joke shop.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's silly.
Is wanting to be a writer.
Yeah. It's risky.
Is wanting to be creative and earn your way through that.
It's wanting to do something different that's not the norm that you're passionate about.
And who doesn't like the idea of it?
Who doesn't want to do that?
Who doesn't like the idea of it? Their mother.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. Because you got to go do your schoolwork. You got to go be a doctor and make money.
My mother doesn't watch this channel, so I took this to heart.
But your mother has appeared on this channel.
She has appeared on this channel.
If you dig far enough, you will see a quippet from Adrian's mother.
It is in the Fine Bros video that we did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the very end of that.
Yeah.
Adrian Fort's mother reacts to.
That was way back when.
Way back when.
Anything else you want to touch on real quick?
Yes. That fifth chapter.
Okay.
Hermione really started taking charge.
Okay.
And you really see the writer coming through that character.
Okay.
Because this is J.K. Rowling associating herself so much with Hermione that she uses Hermione to do the things that she needs done, right? Hey, Ron, Harry, how about we go upstairs? It's getting kind of hot in here, right?
Okay.
And then upstairs, I mean, this is like 2 pages later. They're talking about Sirius, and Ginny doesn't know about Sirius, and they don't want to tell Ginny about Sirius because she's 5 years old. Right?
Yeah.
So Hermione says, "Hey, why don't we go back down to the kitchen?"
Your mom's calling.
Right? So she's being used as this tool to advance the plot in character ways, not to advance the story in character ways, not plot ways, if that makes sense.
Hermione's going to grow up a lot in this book.
Okay.
We're going to see a lot of different shades of Hermione.
Who goes to the hospital in this book?
We're going to see a lot of different shades of Hermione. I think most of which you're going to be all about.
Okay.
Although she becomes an advocate, well, it's a good thing.
An advocate of?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard to talk about this. I've said that many times. But we are going to see another side of Hermione that I don't know how Adrian's going to feel about that. So.
I do love complicated love.
Ooh.
Another thing that is an interesting dynamic so far in this novel, Hermione's billed as an overachiever, right?
Yes.
But how do we see that? We see that in a loving light, don't we?
Yeah.
Not necessarily from Ron and Harry, but the narration itself supports Hermione as an enviable character.
Yes.
Right? despite the fact that once, for example, in that third novel, when the battle broke out, Hermione was scared to hell, right? Hermione was quivering next to Harry Potter. But other than that, everything that we know about Hermione is in the positive realm. Look, the boys might say some things about Hermione, come on. She might have had that mini run in the third book where she was made out as the bad guy because she wanted to, because she told on Ron and Harry. But she is largely seen as a hero.
Correct.
However, Percy is the same guy.
But in a negative light.
Right.
Okay.
He's the overachiever, but now he's got a job, so he ain't quite as cool, right?
And, you know, the whole thing with the thin cauldrons.
Yeah.
I get that. That's the kid's first job. It's his first job doing something he wants to do. He's proud of it.
Yeah.
He wants to tell people about it.
Well, but it's the same thing. It's the same way he was in school, is it not? He's simply translated it to life.
Just the cauldron thing specifically, though. This is the people at work. They're like, "Oh, you do a book thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, let me tell you about a book I just read." They're like, "All right."
Well, but let's look at it this way. Percy is a negative light. Okay, so Hermione and Percy are kind of the same person. Hermione's good, Percy's bad. Right?
Yeah.
So Percy is the opposite of Bill.
Okay.
But Bill is good, Percy's bad.
Okay.
Bill's cool and sexy. He's got a dragon tooth earring.
What?
What was that?
What?
But what is the dynamic there? What is the mechanism there which allows J.K. Rowling to say, yeah, this isn't favorable in a male, or this isn't favorable in the workplace? Because it seems to be, look, Bill doesn't take his job very seriously, does he?
Correct.
They're all cool as long as, you know, what I'm wearing doesn't interfere with my work.
Yeah. I think he makes a pirate joke. As long as I bring home a lot of treasure.
Right.
Yeah.
But Percy's very stiff and upright.
Okay.
Much in the way Hermione is.
Yes.
But this is favorable in Hermione. The opposite is favorable in Bill. So when you get the two mixed on Percy, well, that's just not a good character. We don't like Percy.
Interesting. Very interesting.
See this?
You think too much about Percy Weasley. It's concerning.
He is perhaps the best Weasel.
The best Weasel. We're going to get into that because I really like Molly Weasley.
Does that come up in this novel? You're really liking it?
No, it's further on when she develops as a character. This novel, like I said, we're going to get a lot from Hermione. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Of these 7, this is the one I'm probably least familiar with.
This book?
This book. Because this was the one when I read the 3rd book, right?
Yeah.
And naturally, as a child, had to go back and read 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And 4.
But 5 came out before you.
And then 5 came out later when I was older, and I looked forward to getting it. So this is like one of the most distant ones I've read. So I'm hoping I'm not misquoting myself too much on this. This may be Dalton reads Harry Potter a little bit as well, because it's been a minute.
So you didn't read this in college?
No. Oh,
Were you supposed to read this?
No. Not for Donahur's class, no.
What did you read in Donahur's class?
We read a snippet of the 7.
Okay.
No, we're not supposed to read this in Donahur's class.
I know you didn't do any of your reading in college, so I have to ask.
No, absolutely not. No, my entire paper focused around the 7th book.
The 7th book.
Yes, okay. And we'll get into that. I'll take an academic stab at things when we get there.
Okay.
So, if you'd like to follow that and check that out in the future, probably 8 to 9 years from now when we get there, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like as well. People love Harry Potter, and they love seeing Adrian hate Harry Potter.
No one loves me. Make sure you follow us on Twitter @StripCover and on Facebook @StripCoverLit.